Hi, it's Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video I'm going to show you how to install the Thermalright Aqua Elite 360 V6 onto a AM5 motherboard. Now the process is very similar for AM4 as well. The backplate does differ very slightly because on AM4 it has a tendency to kind of drop out the back when you undo the screws. So I would suggest, if you can, lay the system flat or the motherboard flat, or at least get it all mounted outside of the case if you possibly can, or just lay your case down flat and possibly put something underneath it to support the backplate. But for AM5 users, you shouldn't have any issues at all. So let's go through some of the parts you're going to need. So you will need a cross-headed screwdriver. You will also need, from the actual fittings kit, you'll need the bag of screws to attach the radiator to your case. You'll need the pink color-coded AM4 AM5 standoffs. You'll also need the two metal AM4 stamped brackets. They are suitable for AM5 also. And also the screw bag marked AM4 AM5 with the 4 long screws. Also, thermal paste, which is included. It comes with TF7. I'm going to use TF4 because it's easier to put on and remove. And this is just for demonstration purposes, but feel free to use your own should you wish to, or use what is included. Okay, so to start with, we're going to remove the 4 screws which hold down the 2 plastic retainers. This is appropriate for both AM4 and AM5. The thing is, with AM4, when you undo these screws, the backplate has a tendency to drop off the back of the motherboard. So do be mindful of that. Again, as I said earlier, it's easier if you can lie the motherboard down flat onto a surface, or just put something behind it to hold the back plate in place. Trust me, it will make your life considerably easier. Remove the screws and the 2 plastic parts and put those to one side for safekeeping. Next, we're going to need the 4 plastic standoffs, which are the pink color coded ones, which are marked in the bag AM4 AM5, and stick one of each over the top of each one of the protrusions coming from the back plate, and it should look a little something like this. Next, we can take the metal brackets, which have AM4 stamped on them. This is fine for AM4 and AM5. They have got a slight curve to them, and it goes with the curve facing inwards towards the CPU. Next, we'll need the 4 screws from the long screws bag marked AM4 AM5, and you just put one of these screws down through each one of the holes, through the brackets, and you can do a couple of turns by hand if you wish to get them started. If for some reason they don't start by themselves, you can do a couple of reverse turns, and that will help you to find the thread. Once you've got them in, you can then use your cross-headed screwdriver to tighten them down until you come to a hard stop. Next, we can apply a small amount of thermal paste. Just a little blob in the middle will be absolutely fine. Of course, you can apply the paste of your choice and the application method of your choice, whether you choose to do dots, dabs, spread method, whichever, it's all entirely fine. So now we're ready to attach the pump to the motherboard. First of all, make sure you do remove the plastic protection off the bottom of the cold plate, and you can mount this in either direction, so with the tubes on my side or the tubes kind of facing you, whichever suits your particular needs. I'm going to do it with the tubes facing away, just so it doesn't obstruct the camera too much. Now, in order to get this to fix down, if you look at the brackets there, so you've got 1 screw thread there and you've got 1 screw thread there, and that relates to the 2 screws on either side of the pump head. So if you want to, you can just lower it down in approximately the right position and sit it almost on top of the screw thread and just do 1 or 2 turns just to get it started. And then you can go around to the other side and just put it roughly into position, a little bit of pressure, and you should be able to do a couple of screws to get that one started. If for some reason you can't get one side or the other started, just maybe loosen it off like half a turn or a full turn until you get to the right position, so you makes life a little bit easier. It may require a little bit of pressure either side. Not a lot of pressure, just a tiny bit. So once that's done, you can then go ahead and tighten the screws up, do about 3 or 4 turns each side, and gradually lower the whole unit down onto the CPU until you come to a hard stop at the very bottom. Now for some users this should be absolutely fine, especially for AM4. For AM5 users, you may find sometimes that these coolers will exert too much pressure on the CPU and actually force the pins on the LGA socket to actually bend over a little bit too far, which can cause problems such as the system not booting. You may find if you've got diagnostic LEDs like on this board, you may get the CPU or DRAM LEDs both coming on at the same time. It is going to differ between different boards and different manufacturers, etc. But if you do experience that, the easiest thing to remedy it, in my experience, is to just loosen it off about 2 turns on either side. And you should find that is all that is required, just to relieve some of that pressure off the CPU. Obviously you can play with that a little bit more, loosen off slightly more until you get a boot situation. If it's a first time build and you've got new RAM, you may find you get the CPU and DRAM light on for a longer time because it's actually doing RAM training. So if the light does stay on for more than sort of 5-10 minutes or so, then you may need to reduce some of the pressure on the CPU socket. So next we need to attach the PWM plug from the pump actually onto the motherboard. Now your motherboard may have a specific header. If so, look on the silkscreen printing on the board. On this particular one, we've got our CPU fan header, which is the grey one here at the bottom, or at least from my angle. And then at the top here, this one is marked up as AIO pump. So that's the one we're going to use, which might be just slightly out of shot there, but just find your plug and pop it into position. And there we go. So that is the pump attached. When it comes to the addressable RGB for the pump, you've got the 3-pin 5-volt addressable RGB, you've got the female connection, and also there's a pigtail which gives you the male connection, so you can daisy chain them. So if you've only got one port or not many, if you want to save them, then you can daisy chain them. But we're going to plug this in onto the port now. So just find your port. You'll find that there's 3 pins with a gap in between. So just line it up on there. These are a little bit fiddly at times, so take a couple of attempts. Oh, there we go. We got lucky that time, and that one went on straight away. In terms of actually mounting the radiator to your case, that is pretty straightforward. So you just want to use the screws in this bag to attach the radiator to the top of your case or the front of your case, depending on how you're doing it. And when it comes to the actual cables from the fans themselves, we'll grab a couple of those and show you how that's done for the daisy chaining purposes, and then we'll connect it up to the motherboard. So taking a look at the fans, now depending on which way you're going to do this, you can wire it up from either side. The choice is really down to you and whichever suits your build. In this instance, I'm going to make it so that this one on this end is going to go to the motherboard, which is just off to my side there, and we're going to daisy chain them through. So the one that goes actually into the motherboard is going to be this one here. So this is our PWM 4-pin connection, and these have all got twist sticks on. So if you undo that, it should give you a little bit of length there. So that can go to your case. So what you want to do is grab the fan next to it, and it's got the same connectors. So again, you've got male and female. So all you do is take the female plug and push it into the male socket. Again, this is the one that's actually going to go into the computer. And then do the same again for the last fan. So grab your PWM plug and plug it in the male into the female. And then, so one fan going into the next fan, and then going into the last plug, which you can then just plug into the top of your motherboard, into the CPU header, which we'll show you now. And for the addressable RGB, again, we're going to start from this end. So we've got our ARGB cable, which comes from this fan. You can see just coming out the leads here. So this end is going to go into our motherboard or connect to the daisy chain already on the motherboard, which we've done from the pump. So we're going to need to remove the daisy chain cap off the end, which reveals the male pins. Then go to the next fan along in the chain and grab our connector, again 3-pin 5-volt addressable RGB, so those just push together, they should lock in together nicely. Then you can remove the cap from the middle fan and then grab the cable for the last fan. Again, it's going to be exactly the same, so you're just essentially passing the signal through these plugs, so just push them all together. So that is our ARGB coming out of this fan, going into the middle one, and then finally going into the last cable, which we connect to the motherboard, and I'll show you where this one goes now. So there you go, there is how to install the Thermalright Aqua Elite V6 to an AM5 motherboard. Again, same for AM4. If there's any comments or questions or any suggestions about cabling or wiring, please feel free to let me know in that comments section below. Alternatively, if you're still experiencing problems, again, leave us a comment down below, or if you want a faster response, maybe consider heading over to our Discord tech chat. You can leave a question in there and someone, either myself or one of the others, will get back to you as soon as possible and hopefully sort out any problems you may have. But I think that is going to pretty much wrap this one up. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, smash that like button. If you want to see more content like this on a daily basis, maybe consider hitting subscribe, and also if you do that, don't forget to hit the chime notification. That way you'll be notified of future video releases. So I think that's going to pretty much wrap this one up. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.